'cause you never show.
Hey everyone, so we mentioned this high chair when we did our feeding essentials video, and we said we wanted to do an in-depth review because we really like this high chair. So this is the Stokke Tripp Trapp. So I guess the little backstory is when we were approaching, feeding Paxton, so right around when he was turning 4 months, we were looking at high chairs, and I did some reading and found that it was very important for anyone, whether you're an infant or an adult, the importance of having your feet planted, so having your feet grounded while eating.
Meanwhile, Natalie's cross-legged and I have my legs braced on the table.
But we wanted to make sure that, Paxton, had his feet planted, because we wanted him to obviously, no choking. Not saying that if you don't have your feet planted that, you'll choke. But I just wanted everything kind of perfect for him, how it's recommended. So when I was looking at the different high chairs, I noticed that the footrest, for most of them, for some it's not even something that you can move, and for others there's only like 1 or 2 different height positions, and that the majority of them, when you put the baby in when it's very young, it takes a couple months, maybe even until they're a year before they even hit that first level, and I didn't like that. So this was one of the ones I came across, and actually I knew this chair way before we were looking for high chairs, because I actually would see this chair. My aunt had this chair in her kitchen and in their office, and I always thought it was a funny looking chair. They did not have, obviously this, or the, I don't know, the toddler strap or whatever you want to call it. They just had the base chair, which will show you what it looks like without these attachments when Ari takes it apart. But I always thought it was a funny looking chair. But then when I was looking at the high chairs, I realized, it was a high chair, so I guess my cousins use that as a high chair. The nice thing is it really does grow with you. So so how we have it, it would be from when the baby can sit, on their own up until forever. Because like I mentioned, my aunts and uncles, they still use it, and they're obviously adults. And then you can also buy an adaptation. It comes with like a little bassinet that you can attach to this if you want to have it whenever the baby is younger than, I don't know, before they can sit up, I guess I could say. But yeah, so this really grows with them, and the nice thing is it's kind of like a all-in-one, so you can use it as a booster, so to speak, too, in the sense that you can remove the tray and then push it up against to the table, and then they can sit and dine with you at the table as they would if they were in a booster chair. And it's still nice because, if you have a booster, the kids still don't have anything to keep their feet grounded. And so with this, having this instead of a booster chair is nice because they can, utilize it. And then I always joke with Ari and say Paxton can take it with him to his dorm whenever he's in college. Ari says he won't do that, but we'll see.
He's not going to do that.
But yeah, so the thing that we really like about this is, one, there's tons of different color options. We chose gray, and it kind of matches our chairs, but there's white, there's natural wood, there's black, there's pink, there's turquoise, there's teal, yellow, I think, a whole bunch of different colors. And I like it because, one, you can take it apart really easily, and Ari will demonstrate, and then you can wipe it and clean it easily. So there's nothing hard, no little crannies that you can't get to. And then we like to put a little pillow back here. So the only thing that I'll add is, we opted to not buy the padding cushioning for this high chair. Originally it was just because we couldn't really agree on a pattern, because all the patterns that they had were something that we didn't really like, or they were really light, and we figured, okay, it's going to stain. And so we held off. And then we just, for the time being, had a little pillow that my mom made us, and then we just had she just made little pillowcases for it that we can, use, and then that way when it gets dirty we can wash it. And now I'm glad we didn't buy the cushions, because the cushions would kind of be a pain, because, he's a mess when he eats. And we would constantly have to completely disassemble, which again, it's not hard, but you'd have to disassemble it, take the cushion off, and then, you know, wash the cushions, obviously. Whereas this, you know, typically what we do after a meal, you know, we'll wipe it down, we'll wipe here, wipe there, and then if it's something super dirty or if he gets the straps really dirty, then we'll completely take it apart. So typically we try to, I mean, we don't always do this, but I try to at least clean it like in the evening so it's nice and fresh for the next day. So Ari can kind of take it apart and show you how easy it is.
So first thing, before I take it apart, I'm just going to show you how it goes together, because if it comes in a box, I mean, pretty much anybody can put it together. It comes with all the tools you need, but there's 5 screws on each side, and in order to make adjustments to the footrest, you do need to loosen at least one side of the screws, at least to kind of pry it out. And honestly, it kind of helps to have 2 people to adjust it. You can do it one, but it just means you have to take a few more of them. Some of the screws either completely out or loosen them a little bit more than I would like to. But Natalie mentioned, so this is really easy to take apart. I'm going to try not to get in the way of it. But there's a little clip on the bottom. You push it in and you pull the tray off. And then this here, I always have to remember, there's another little clip on the other side here. You push it in the same way, you pull that out, that comes off. This also does come off somehow. I've been brave enough to try and get that off without damaging something, but it's not that hard to wash with it on. And then this also just pops off. So this does come off very easily. The straps just pull out. And I will say, this is typically what gets the dirtiest, and this is just kind of easy to wipe down.
Yeah.
So it is, you can see it's really easy to clean, really no problems. The only thing that's a little finicky is when you put this back on, you just need to make sure that this is centered. Otherwise, the rest of it, there's a little bit finagling to get this in, because you can see this kind of nests up and in there.
Yeah, and then the
And
way
we
you
pop
just
it
saw
back
it
down.
without that is kind of how I saw it, kind of the adult chair, or the chair that they can use whenever they grow out of needing the harness. And then without the tray, like I said, you can just push it up against a table, which makes it nice because they can then eat at the table with you. You know, when they feel that they've outgrown the high chair aspect, they can still utilize it and kind of be pushed up and eat with you, which is nice.
So this is on the pricier side of some of the chairs. It's kind of up there with 4moms. I want to say, what's the other brand? There was one other brand that we looked at too.
The Nuna.
The Nuna. Those were the 3 that we kind of looked at. One of the downsides of this is this tray. It's not very good with suction cups. So they do make one, right? They make their own suction cup bowl or plate or whatever kit. We don't have that, but for whatever reason, what we do have is suction cup. Suction cup's fine to everything else that we have, just not this.
Yeah.
And the tray is a little bit narrow, which makes it a little bit difficult for some of the wider plates that you have. He likes to try and push it up and over, and that is easy for him because it's always either up on this side or up on the other side.
Yeah.
It's always kind of bent out. But I think this was it was between $250 and $275, I think. Bed Bath & Beyond, you can use a 20% off coupon. You cannot at Bye Bye Baby. So we figured that out and obviously went the Bed Bath & Beyond route. But you know, let us know if you have any questions in the comments below about this, obviously. And like Natalie said, we really like it. We definitely suggest it. If you can afford it, this is definitely one of our must-haves. So thanks for joining, and until next time.